Good morning. This is the meeting of the Baltimore City Council Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. I am Councilman Stokes, representing the 12th District, chair of the committee. In attendance and part of the committee is Council Vice President Sharon Miller from the 6th District, Councilwoman Felicia Porter from the 10th District. We await Councilman Zeke Corn from the 1st District. We also have Nina Themnes from the mayor's office. We also have Trey, who chairs this committee also. Thank you, Trey Hayes. Today, the committee is holding a hearing on Council Bill 24-052, Fire and Police Retirement System Benefits Enhancement, for the purpose of amending certain provisions of the Fire and Police Employees Retirement System, changing the definition of average final compensation, providing a new deferred investment benefit, eliminating the 2-year waiting period for commencement of post-retirement benefit increases, repealing obsolete provisions related to post-retirement benefit increases, changing the interest earned on drop 2 accounts, providing for a special effective date, and general relating to fire and police retirement system. So just real quick, I know how hard our officers and our firemen work in the city, and you should have a great retirement because you're always at risk. Actually, all city employees, but I know how much time, the police work hard in the city and the fire department, and when they retire, and city employees should have a great retirement. Because I believe after you retire, you shouldn't have to always go back and get another job sometimes just to pay for your health care. So I'm very supportive of this. And I believe the administration and the fire department union, they work this out. So it should not be a fight here. This should be nice and smooth. So we're gonna start off by having Robert Holly, Director of the Fire, Police, and Retirement Systems, and I guess you can introduce your staff.
Thank you so much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Chair Stokes. I'm joined by our General Counsel, Abraham Schwartz, as well as our Deputy Director, Howard Mosovitz. And my name is Robert Holly. I'm the Executive Director of the city's Fire and Police Employees Retirement System, which I will refer to as the F&P going forward in these remarks. I'm testifying this morning regarding Council Bill 24-0532, which was referred for comment to the F&P by your committee. In addition to what you said, the bill proposes to change the definition of average final compensation to 24 months of the highest paid service of a member, instead of the current definition, which is 36 months, for calculating the pension and death benefits. Because F&P members generally enjoy their highest paid service at the conclusion of their careers, this change would result in higher average pension benefits paid to members. The estimated cost of this enhancement would add approximately $2.7 million to the cost of the city's annual contribution to the F&P. The bill also proposes to provide a new deferred vested benefit to members terminating employment after 10 years with no pension benefit. That deferred benefit would be calculated according to the normal service retirement rules, which are 2.5% per year for the first 20 years of service and 2% each year thereafter. And those benefits would be payable for life after reaching the age of 60 years old. This new benefit would add no new cost to the city's current annual contribution to the F&P because no current active members would be eligible for this benefit. Only F&P members entering the system on or after July 1st, 2025 would be eligible to receive a deferred vested benefit under the bill. However, over time, obviously in approximately 10 to 11 years, more members eligible for this additional deferred vested benefit are hired. The normal cost for future service of actives will nominally increase. This nominal increase is estimated at 0.08% of the total payroll. The next provision aims to eliminate the current 2-year waiting period for an F&P retiree to become eligible to begin receiving post-retirement benefit increases. The estimated cost of this enhancement would add approximately $2.5 million to the cost of the city's annual contribution to the F&P. The next provision looks to raise the interest rate earned by F&P members on their Drop 2 accounts or Deferred Retirement Option Plan from the current 3% to 5.5%. The estimated cost of this enhancement would add approximately $1.8 million to the cost of the city's annual contribution to F&P. Finally, the bill looks to repeal certain obsolete provisions which related to the formal variable post-retirement increase. The repeal of this language would result in no new cost savings to the city. The variable benefit that was employed by the F&P was repealed in 2010. So the bill's provisions have been reviewed by Chiron, which acts as the F&P's actuary, whose cost report is attached to the F&P's June 2018-2024 memo to this committee. In total, Chiron estimates that all of the amendments proposed by the bill would result in an additional $7 million to the cost of the city's annual contribution to the F&P. At their meeting of June 18, 2024, the F&P Board of Trustees resolved to issue a legislative report neither supporting nor opposing City Council Bill 24-0532. The board's stance is consistent and constant with its administrative functions under the city code, which is neutral as to plan, benefits, and design. At this time, I'm open to any questions from the committee, and I thank you for the time.
Thank you. I'd like to recognize Councilman Glover from the 13th District, a member of the committee. Ms. Nina Themlis, did you want to have something to say from the administration real quick?
Sure, Nina Themlis, Director of Government Relations for the Mayor's Office. I just want to say that the administration has undertaken several efforts to increase recruitment and retention efforts among first responders. And so this piece of legislation is just to round that out and ensure that those retired members of the first responders organizations and entities are able to receive similar increased benefits. And so we had this legislation introduced in order to provide those benefits to those entities. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to go to, we have about 6 people that signed up to testify. So we're going to start off with Matthew Coster, Baltimore Firefighters Local 734.
Good morning, Chairman Stokes and members of the Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. My name is Matthew Coster, and I'm the president of Baltimore Firefighters Local 734. I am here today to provide testimony in support of Council Bill number 24-0532. I strongly support Bill 24-0532 for several reasons, but to keep my testimony brief, I will highlight a key few points. Restoring benefits. Passing this bill will correct some of the injustices that occurred in 2010 when the Ordinance 10-0306 drastically reduced our benefits for those with less than 15 years of service. This bill will finally restore some of those benefits of those who put their lives on the line for others. Strengthening the BCFD. Passing this bill will make the Baltimore City Fire Department stronger and more attractive, not only in retaining our current members, but also in attracting potential new recruits looking for a career in the fire service. In today's competitive environment, all jurisdictions are struggling to staff and retain members. If passed, Council Bill 24-0532 will have a significant positive impact on our members and department. Although the work is not complete, we look forward to working with the Mayor and City Council in the future. In conclusion, I urge this committee to support Bill 24-0532 as this legislation is vital for the well-being and effectiveness of our department. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony today, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. I also want to recognize Ms. Elena DePietro from the Law Department. Did you have any comments?
Mr. Chair, we approve the bill for formal legal sufficiency.
Thank you. Thank you. Elliot Cohen, Baltimore Police, FOP 3.
Can you hear me now? All right. Good morning, Chairman Stokes and members of the committee. My name is Elliot Cohen. I'm the state trustee for FOP 3, the police union. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak about City Council Bill 24-0532, our proposed pension reform bill. I would also like to thank Mayor Scott and his staff for taking the time to meet with the fire unions and FOP 3 and to allow the construction of this important legislation. As you all know, the BPD is down to under 2,000 sworn officers, and only about 1,600 of those officers are full duty. Those 1,600 officers have been working on it to a breaking point and are hoping for some relief in the name of new hires and slower attrition. The fire and FOP presidents began meeting with the mayor about a year ago with the hope of implementing pension reform that would be meaningful and help in the retention and recruitment efforts of both the BPD and fire department. The bill you have before you is a start in that direction, and we are thankful that these steps are being taken to help our depleted ranks. Our retirees were at the forefront of our meetings leading up to this bill, and we look forward to changes soon that will help our retirees offset the cost of living that has rapidly outpaced their retirement income. The mayor has agreed that a focus group of retirees and his staff will be formed to address this matter. FOP3 is in support of this bill, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next person to testify is Josh Fannin from Baltimore Fire Officers, AFF Local 964.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of this committee. My name is Josh Fannin, President of Baltimore Fire Officers, Local 964. I'm here to speak in support and encourage that the committee considers amendment to a certain provision and the legislation as proposed. I did want to thank the mayor's office, members of the FOP and Local 734, as well as 964 for making this a collaborative effort that we're all in support in, representing first enhancement to our pension system in over 20 years. However, one of the things that brought this journey into being to begin with was the fact that the Baltimore City Fire and Police Employee Retirement System does not have a vesting clause that, as far as we could tell, is present in every single other pension system in the state, including here in the Baltimore City, the other two pension systems. And as written in the legislation right now, the vesting clause would only apply to new hires after July 1st, 2025, and not active members. And this is a grave miscarriage of justice. The reason that we even pursued that to begin with is that in 2010, with the passage of Ordinance 10-306, the rug was pulled out from under any member who had less than 15 years of service. What normally happens is if a pension system is in need of tweaking, they normally will come up with a plan that would address that to new hires only, because that's a fair way to do it. However, preserving the fact that you could still adjust the pension system in the future if there was a need to, it should apply to people who are not yet vested, but the members who had the rug pulled out from under them in 2010 with 14 years of service, this will still happen to anybody with 14 years of service for the next 10 years if they have 4 years now or less or whatever it is. So I would strongly encourage amendment to that. And you also heard, I would say from Mr. Holly from the FMP, that cost factor is 0.08%. So that was definitely negligible and the lowest possible cost. So that's why I would recommend strongly that you would consider amending this legislation to that provision only. Otherwise, strongly in favor. It would be a great thing for all of our members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Daryl Birchman, did I say that right? Listen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you letting me speak for a moment. My name's Daryl Berman. I'm president of Baltimore City Retired Police, representing about 1,600 retirees and about 400 beneficiaries or widows. Excuse me. My job as the president is look out for our members, our pension, and our benefits. And we're all in favor of this bill. We want to make sure that, because we're old, we're out in the pasture, we don't get stepped on. And that's basically it. And I appreciate you all considering it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dan Ficus, I'm sorry, Dan, I chopped your name up a little bit.
Morning, Chairman, committee members. My name is Dan Fickus, past president of the FOP, board member of the Baltimore Retired Police Benevolent Association, and a 14-year retiree. Council Bill 532 proposes a pension reform. In reality, reform is far overdue. With healthcare, prescription, dental costs, inflation, they exceed the 1 or 2% annual increment that we get on our pension. Pensions have stagnated. Now, some of you are thinking Social Security will compensate for any financial misgivings to our pension. That answer would be an emphatic no. Those retirees that qualify for Social Security are subjected to Social Security, the windfall elimination penalty, and the government pension offset. These two government bills equate to between a 40 to 60% reduction in a monthly Social Security check. I personally have a 60% reduction in my check. Yes, many of our retirees' pensions are inadequate and require adjustment. In fact, we currently have over 200 pensioners receiving less than $30,000 a year. Over 300 widows with pensions ranging between $12,000 to $19,000. Pension reform is imperative, and I implore you to extend economic security to our retirees. Please support 532. Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, Frank Boston.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Frank Boston III. I'm here today on behalf of FOP Lodge 3, the Fire Officers Union, the Firefighters Unions, and the Baltimore Retired Police Association. Basically, all of the gentlemen who just testified, and we want to say thank you for considering this bill. And I want to start off by saying that special thanks to the mayor and the mayor's administration for working with us. This is a start. That's how we recognize it. And you heard Mr. Fannin speak. There's much more vesting that we would like to see to take care of all of the members, and especially our retirees. Like you, they will all be retirees at some point in time, and that care and pension is very important. Want to thank this city council for considering all of the testimony that you just heard on behalf of our men and women from fire and public safety who take care of this city and keep it safe and out of harm's way. Thank you. I have nothing else to say, and I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Also, real quick, Councilman Torrance is part of this committee. He have an excuse, so just want to put that on record.
Yep.
Council Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
One moment. I'm sorry. Do we have any testimony online? Whoever's online, can you raise your hand so we can, if you want to testify, use the raise hand function. Thank you. There's no one that's going to testify online. Council Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm sure every committee member here will probably have a comment just to just really continue with what you had said earlier when you started off with the committee, but just to add, I want to just commend the fire and police for all of the dedicated work that you do for our city and the sacrifices that you continue to make. A lot of people don't understand how you really take time away from your families. Our city is a very complicated city. If you compare it with our surrounding counties and a number of the rural areas, throughout Maryland, Baltimore is very complicated, and you have to be a dedicated, special person to really take care and handle the challenges in Baltimore City. And you continue to do an excellent job from the added things that you do besides putting out fires, and a lot of our residents sometimes forget all of that extra stuff, from knocking on doors with the smoke detectors, and our police department attending, community meetings and taking care of those needs, the blighted buildings that you have to deal with, and just the everyday personalities that you have to deal with on a regular basis. We could go down a list of things that you do, but I wanted to just personally continue to thank you for all the things that you do for the city. And yes, of course, you all deserve a great pension, and I hope you do get that. So thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me time to make some comments.
Councilman Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to all the folks who are here before us today, both the agencies on the mayor's side as well as the police and fire and their unions. Just to echo the vice president's comments, we are extremely grateful for your service, and the reality is that we are short police officers, we're short firefighters. We have got to be competitive with surrounding jurisdictions. Baltimoreans deserve to be safe. Our police and firefighters deserve a decent, just retirement where you can retire with dignity and have a decent pension. And so to me, this is the start of an important conversation, but I think it's critically important to say that, just like the vice president said, your efforts are very much appreciated. You have to be tough to be either a firefighter or a police officer in Baltimore. And we know that the women and men who go out and serve are just that. And so I think it's really important that this council and this administration recognizes that and meets you where you are and makes sure that folks can retire with dignity. So again, appreciate the administration for working with the different agencies as well as their unions. Appreciate the hard work that you all do, and appreciate the chair and my colleagues for supporting this bill, and just to say thank you for your work.
Thank you. This is moving real fast. I mean, y'all people still had breakfast. I want to thank the administration and working through this with all the unions, because I believe whether you're a firefighter or police, you're on the front line. The same people who pick up our trash that nobody want to do it. The same people who handle our water when we have water breaks. So they should have the same kind of pension, but they should be recognized also, because a lot of you guys and women put yourself on the line. And anybody in this city that do 20 years should have a pension and a retirement that will benefit them, so they don't have to go and get 2 or 3 other jobs, and that's what's happening a lot. So I want to thank the administration and the fire department for working through this. I think that's what the residents of Baltimore City want to see. You don't always agree, but see how you can work through it and compromise, and then you come to something like this that really benefits our firefighters and our police. So, if there's no more questions, any comments? Councilwoman Reporter.
Thank you. I just want to flag this for the administration. So even under the current F&P system, that rate goes over time. How are we planning for this in the FY25 and 26 budget?
Laura Larson, City Budget Director. So these reforms, we'd have to, many of them kick in July 1st of 2025. So we'll need to begin to prepare for them for the fiscal 26 budget. So the budget that you just passed for fiscal 25 doesn't include any funding for these reforms. And so as we begin our projections for fiscal 26, we'll need to account for the higher pension costs, which would add to the budget shortfall that we will have to balance the fiscal 26 budget around.
Thank you. And the reason why I asked that question is because during the budget conversations for next year, as a council, we're going to need to support Laura and her team to really figure out how those trade-offs are going to be integrated into that FY26 budget. Thank you.
Thank you. So we don't have no one else testifying online, or everybody have testified. So do we have a motion to vote on Council Bill 24-0532? Moved by Council Vice President, second by Councilman Glover. Stokes is a yes. Councilman Bullock is absent. Councilman Glover? Council Vice President Middleton?
Yes.
Councilman Cohen? Councilwoman Porter, and Councilman Torrance is excused. This bill will be placed on second reader at the next city council meeting. Thank you for attending the hearing and is now adjourned.